Welcome back to Finnerty. We're going to do something a little bit different tonight. 4 years ago this spring, one of my friends, was canceled from CNN, and in my opinion, for absolutely no reason. Their loss, as they say, was very much our gain. But a former Pennsylvania senator and two-time presidential candidate was fired, let go, whatever you want to call it, after he said something that the media and Democrats spent weeks telling us all was really controversial. It wasn't. And he wasn't even on air at CNN at the time when he made the comments. He was speaking at an event for the Young America's Foundation. But tell me, even now, 4 years later, if you notice anything controversial about what the senator said.
We came here and created a blank slate. We birthed a nation from nothing. I mean, there's nothing here. I mean, yes, we have Native Americans, but candidly, that there isn't much Native American culture in American culture. It was born of the people who came here pursuing religious liberty to practice their faith.
That was Senator Rick Santorum, and the media reacted to that in a way reserved exclusively for conservatives. People that he thought were his friends immediately piled on and tried to turn Rick Santorum into this evil, awful person that he is not. Trust me, he's not. He is a good and decent man. The headline's very predictable. NBC. Rick Santorum's Native American culture crack was racist, but here's why he thought it was okay. Sounds like NBC to me. Reuters. CNN drops former Senator Rick Santorum after remarks on Native American culture. The New York Times. CNN drops Rick Santorum after comments about Native Americans. What was interesting is that we really didn't ever hear from any actual Native Americans that were offended. And CNN fired Rick Santorum, the Scott Jennings of his time, for what you just saw. But CNN at the same time kept legal analyst Jeffrey Toobin, who during a Zoom call just months before Rick Santorum made those comments, pulled down his pants, and I'll let you Google the rest. But somehow, Jeffrey Toobin still works there. Don Lemon does not.
Everything that we talk about the founding of this country, Europeans did not found this country. It was here. The Native Americans had this country before the Europeans came. Yeah, the Europeans conquered the country. They colonized it, but they didn't. It had nothing to do with the founding of this country. And he should recognize that. He needs to know that, especially if he's going to be on television.
Well, it does have something to do with the founding of the United States of America, which didn't exist before the Europeans got here. All the tweets also predictable at the time. The chairman of the DNC. Seriously, is anyone surprised to hear this hot garbage coming from Rick Santorum? Nothing was here. No Native American culture. In American culture, America hasn't changed. Okay, CNN. Okay, CNN, pressuring CNN to let him go, which they did. In this one, Native and indigenous nations lived, governed, and thrived here before their land was stolen, and they were murdered in a mass genocide, you ignorant white supremacist. Or this one, legitimate question, is Rick Santorum a white supremacist? And yet Elizabeth Warren, little Lizzie, who's claimed to be a Native American for decades now to advance her career, has never had to face any of these same questions because she's a Democrat. Nobody cares. In 1984, little Lizzie Warren even contributed a recipe to a Native American cookbook called Pow Wow Chow. I'm not kidding. It's in there. And nobody cares. And joining us now for more, the man they tried their best to cancel, but it didn't work. My goodness, how much has changed over the last 4 years. Pennsylvania Senator Rick Santorum is with us. Senator, great to see you.
Thank you, Rob. Good to be with you as always.
So I remember when this happened. I was working on the morning show here at Newsmax, and I remember seeing the video for the first time, and I remember telling the producers to keep playing it because I was waiting for the controversial part.
Yeah, it was not a controversial thing. It was what happened. This was how the left operates. What they did was they have had, and Jeff Zucker, who ran CNN at the time, told me this while I was on the air. He said there are 5 organizations out there who every single day have someone trolling for everything you say, and they put out stuff to get you fired. They do not want a contrary voice on CNN. They want you gone. And so every day I have to put up with, fire Rick Santorum, get rid of him. He's saying controversial things. And so this was the latest one. And why this mattered is that I was worth something to CNN when I was on CNN and Donald Trump was president the 4 years I was on the air.
Right.
And I would call it as it is. If Trump did something I thought was wrong, I would say it. And of course, if I thought he did something right, which was most of the time, I said that too. And so I was useful. But once Biden came in, all of a sudden, we really don't want any dissent. We don't want anybody criticizing Joe Biden.
Right.
So they used this as an opportunity to do what they probably obviously the left wanted to do for a long time.
So let's look at the comments. Here's what you said, quote, "I don't know another country in the world that was settled predominantly by people who were coming to practice their faith, and they set up a country that was based on Judeo-Christian principles." Senator, you were talking about the 1600s. I don't know how that's controversial, but throughout our history as a species, cultures have been conquering other cultures. This is not unique to America. This is not unique to the New World. Why, even today, is that concept so offensive to so many people?
Well, it's offensive because they don't like American culture.
Because, Senator, what you said, that's what happened. Okay?
No.
Doesn't make it better, doesn't make it worse. That's what happened, and it's been happening since the dawn of time, the dawn of humanity.
Agreed. And the thing that, again, was true was that Native Americans had nothing to do with the founding of the country, which is what I was talking about. I was talking about the founding, the Constitution. That was what the speech was about. Heck, 95% of Native American tribes were fighting for the British. Of course, they had nothing to do with the founding of the country. I mean, that's an obvious fact. You can say, well, later on, Native American culture had something to do.
Yeah.
But the reality is, with the founding of the country, they had nothing to do. They resisted the colonials having a country of their own.
And you were so nice at the time, but they wanted you. They tried to turn you into somebody that's so evil. And I think our audience, who are still to some extent getting to know you, you are one of the best men that I know, one of the nicest people that I know. And I would not just say that. And you know that, Senator. We've spent a lot of time together. Question for you. If this happened right now, 2025, 4 years later, with Donald Trump in the White House, does CNN fire you for that?
Absolutely not. And the reality is that Trump has changed the whole narrative. He has done something that he's done a lot of things that are going to have a lasting impact in the country. I think the one thing that has had the most profound impact is the fact that he has exposed the media for the corrupt institution they are. And at first, people were saying, "Oh, he's attacking the First Amendment." No, the people who have attacked the First Amendment are the folks in the mainstream media who have abused the First Amendment in order to promote an ideology of the left. They're the ones who have set the standard of lying to the American public, of not telling. Look, when I was fired, they called me and said, we're going to have to let you go. And I said, well, are you going to do a press release? And they said, no. I said, well, how are you going to let people know? And they said, every single day, the Daily Beast and the Huffington Post call us and ask if you're fired. Said every single day.
By the way, they're so lame. Have some courage as an executive, as a TV executive. Say, no, we're proud to have the senator working for us. Instead, people like Jeff Zucker, who is the worst, and that network is the absolute worst, they all cave to the pressure. Have some courage. Show some courage. No one does that anymore. Senator, we've got to leave it there. But you were a casualty of peak Biden insanity, and I hope that that's gone forever. Thank you. Senator Rick Santorum. We'll see you again soon.
Turned out great.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Information. Truth is freedom. Is Newsmax. It's real news for real people.